Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do a Brazilian themed full glam makeup look. First, her face is already clean and I'm going in to moisturize with Pond's moisturizer all over her face. To start the brows, I brush them up first and I only fill in where the areas are really sparse because she already has nice thick and full brows. And I just keep brushing upwards and filling in where I see fit until I like the way it looks without concealer. And she was feeding me popcorn this whole time. This is my little sister, and you'll probably be seeing her a lot in my videos. Moving on to the other side, I just do the same thing, just filling in more so at the end because as you can see, it's not that many hairs, not as full as you would want it to be. So I just go in and fill in her brows and just keep brushing upwards and getting it as closely matched to the other side as I can because brows are sisters, not twins, so it won't be perfect 100% of the time, but I am a perfectionist when it comes to the brows. I love doing brows. So she keep making funny faces. She done made funny faces throughout this whole video. I told her some of these is going to make it into the video because I don't care. My little sister is also a nail tech and we from Baltimore, Maryland, so her Instagram is Trinity Nails. I will link her information in the description. So first concealer I'm going in with is medium beige from e.l.f. I love that concealer and I'm just starting with the tail first and bring the concealer down and then just doing smaller strokes and just really taking my time and then bringing down the concealer just a little bit because I'm going to add a different shade of concealer later onto the actual lid. Now I'm just going over it again with the same concealer so it can be more pronounced and not just look faded away. You get what I'm saying. Moving on to the other side, I'm just doing the same thing. I just sped it up just a little bit because you just see me doing on the other side. You just do the same thing on the side and just take your time with making the brow how you want it to be and just making sure it's as even as possible with the other side. Now I'm just taking a beauty blender and just blending it out. I normally don't do this. I don't really use too many beauty blenders, but I don't know why I did. I think it looked a little bit more even. I just wanted to try it out. But I usually use a brush, but this time I use a beauty blender for it. Now I'm taking e.l.f. concealer in shade Fair Rose. It dries down really matte, so you have to hurry up and blend it out. I just used the beauty blender and it was damp, so a little bit goes a long way. So I'm taking a dark blue shade from my Beauty Creations color Hues palette. I don't remember the exact name of it, but I'll put the names of everything in the description box. But I didn't speed this part up because I just wanted you to see how I place the eyeshadow down and how I'm kind of blending it. I'll kind of pat it first and then lightly go over it around the edges so that it doesn't look as harsh. And I didn't speed this part up either, just so you can see it on the other side. I am going around the natural shape of her eyes. She has like almondy eyes, which are perfect for makeup. I love doing her eyes. And just doing the same thing, just kind of create kind of a L shape with it and just softening out the edges, but making sure I'm packing it on the outer parts of her eye. I'm taking a lighter blue shade out the same palette and just with a fluffier brush and more rounder brush, just going on the outside and just fading it out so it creates a nice ombre look, as you can see. And it doesn't really take that long. Doing the same thing on the other side, and you see that I didn't conceal the top of her brows yet. I don't do that until after I finish the eyes, because I found I really like to lift the eyes up and have a nice grip on it, and I just found I just get a lot of concealer on my fingers when I do that, so I just don't even put the concealer there anymore. But now I'm taking that blue shade again and just going back into it because I don't want to lose that color, so I'm taking a more, you see what kind of brush it is. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just anything, a smaller brush so that you can pack it on there and really get the pigment on there. And I am more light-handed around the edges. But now I'm just taking a beauty blender and just buffing out the creases a little bit before I place the next shades. Now I'm going in with green from the same palette and just packing it on there first, using a patting motion instead of like a blending motion because I really wanted to show up. And these colors complement each other on the color wheel, so it doesn't really matter how much you pat it or push together like that, it won't get muddy because they're complementary. And doing the same thing on the other side. I did speed it up, but you can still see what I'm doing. I'm just patting it on there and just patting it with the blue so it kind of blends itself. Now I'm taking the lighter blue shade and just lightly going in between the blue and the green to blend it out a little more. My little sister was feeding me popcorn this whole time while I was doing her makeup. So that's what we're doing. Doing the exact same thing on the other side. Now I'm taking the yellow shade from the same palette and just using a packer brush and packing it on there. And like I said, they're complementary colors on the color wheel, so no matter how much I really go into that green, it won't look muddy at all. It just blends itself out. Getting even more yellow and packing it on there. I really wanted it to pop up, and so now I'm just going back in with that green and patting more to blend it out, and doing the same thing to the other side. I used NYX glitter primer on the eyes, and I'm just placing this glitter from TransformedByTee. She's another Baltimore makeup artist, and I use her glitters a lot, so I'm just packing it on there in the yellow part. I initially was just gonna do yellow, then I was gonna do a green glitter, but I decided I liked the way the yellow looks, so eventually I'm just putting it over the green as well. But I didn't use any glitter primer or adhesive because it just faded itself out. So now I'm taking, what is this? I think it's e.l.f. liquid liner and just lining her eyes. And I didn't speed this up either, so you can see in real time how fast I really move with the liner. And I'm coming down at an angle. My hand is kind of in the way, but try to explain the best I can. And doing the same thing to the other side. I did speed it up, but you might can see it a little bit better. It kind of faded itself out right there. So now I'm taking a deeper blue and gonna smudge out the edge, but as you can see, the black, it was still kind of wet, so it kind of smudged as well, but it doesn't really matter because it looked nice. But on the other side, I'm just gonna take that same deep dark blue and then add a little bit of black to it so that it looks just like the other side. I'm taking a spoolie to get the extra glitter off, and I put more pawns, and then I do use the e.l.f. Jellypop primer, and now I'm doing the top of her brows again. I forget what shade this is, but this is Maybelline Fit Me Line. I love their concealers. I really love e.l.f. and Maybelline Fit Me Line, so that's pretty much what I use every day for all my clients. First, I did like a vertical line, and now I'm just going over the top of her brow and then kind of bringing it together with like a curved motion so that her brow look nice and soft and natural. That's why I did not fill in every little part of her brow, because when I used to do that, the brows tend to look really black, but they don't anymore. They look really natural. And now I'm doing the same thing to the other side. I did speed this up just a little bit, but you can still see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna go back and fix that sharper line right there, because like I said, I really love brows and I really like them to look symmetrical and like twins, even though they really don't have to be. But now I'm taking a Real Techniques blending brush, crease brush, and just blending it in. And now I'm taking Maybelline Fit Me Line, and this shade was a little too dark, and I knew it because I was really focused on her face and not matching it to her neck. But I'm taking it, putting it on the outsides of her face. But this is the shade, I think, Cappuccino. And then I take Spicy Brown, Spicy something from Maybelline, and put it in the middle of her face. I probably should have just did Spicy Brown, but I really couldn't remember which foundations I be using for her face, because I do her face all the time for just content. She don't even be going nowhere. But now I'm taking a Real Techniques Instapot brush, and I love this brush. It's really big, but it really gets the job done, and it's really quick. That's what she's asking me right now. She was like, how big is this brush? And I showed her. So I didn't speed this part up either, just to show you how fast I be moving and really how big the brush is, so you can really see it really gets the job done. This whole time we were watching Bring It, so that's why she looking off to the side this whole time. We was watching Bring It. I know back in the day I used to love, I swear I was a dancing doll. I can't dance for shit. Here I just sped it up because you get the point. I'm just blending out the rest of her face, kind of bringing it down to her neck a little bit, but taking the concealer that I use under her brows and putting it under her eyes, her cupid's bow, her chin, and her forehead, and the bridge of her nose, just to highlight those areas. And then I'm going to be taking a shade Olive from e.l.f. and doing the rest of her face. I just sped it up because I just go on the outsides to blend in with the rest of her face. And now I'm using a foundation. It's Black Radiance foundation. I forget the shade, but as the contour, because when you use foundation as contour, it tends to look a lot more natural. And I really do like the contour, but I relaxed on it a little bit because my older pictures, I can tell that I really am heavy-handed. So when I switched to doing the foundation, it really helped me a lot. Spraying her face with some Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. It's matte, and you just want to do that so it helps with the longevity of the makeup, because I don't like to bake at all. But right here I'm taking my foundation brush and just blending out the contour and the edge of the highlight, and just to show you how easily it's really blending, because this brush is that big and it really helps it make a seamless blend. That's why I didn't speed it up. But here I'm speeding it up because I just explained it. But I'm doing the outsides of her face and just getting the edges of the concealer. Went back to put concealer under the contour because, like I said, the foundation was too dark, because I forget it's winter. You know, you get light skin in the wintertime. But I'm taking a Real Techniques blending brush. Well, this is the setting brush, but I love to use it for blending out the contour, and I'm just blending out the edges of everything first. Especially with the eyes, I didn't want to be harsh, but I'm so mad I did this. I just be doing a bunch of different stuff when I do faces, but I just took the same foundation and put on her nose, but it was too much, and y'all gonna see. So I just took a brush and just like kind of swiped it off a little bit when I started blending it, and just put it on my hand.
your life. Bing bong.
Now I'm just blending out the edge of the concealer under her eyes so that it doesn't get stuck like that, because e.l.f. concealer, you could say it's a dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. So I've heard. I've never used Tarte because that is $30 damn that I don't have for one piece of concealer. So I do love e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer, and it really stayed there all day. But now I'm taking my foundation brush and just going back over it because I don't want her to look ashy under her contour. So I'm just patting that in. And now, like I said earlier, it was too much. So I'm just taking a brush and just kind of swiping down the contour on her nose. But I'm taking the contour up to the front of her brows to blend them in. Taking it over like that little part of her nose just because it makes you look like you have a button nose. But now I'm taking another Real Techniques crease brush and just trying to blend it as much as I can. This was not my best nose, but it looks good anyway. So I'm taking it, blending it to the beginning of her brows, and also blending it into the contour. So not the concealer and the highlight, just so that it just looks nice. And now I'm going out and blending in the concealer under her eyes, because now it should be dried down enough. And when you let it dry down enough, it has fuller coverage, and you see her eyes aren't really creased that much or at all right here. And I'm just blending up into the eyeshadow, and when I let it dry and blend it up into the eyeshadow, it doesn't make it really look muddy and doesn't get like blue everywhere. Now I'm taking Maybelline Fit Me pressed powder. I like to use that instead of loose powder because loose powder makes you look ashy. It doesn't matter how you do it. I just always seem to see ashiness even when I don't even do it. So I'm just putting the pressed powder in the shade Toffee all around where I put the concealer, where I highlighted her face. And I make sure I'm doing it around her smile lines and under her eyes and just everywhere I highlight it. I'm taking Black Radiance palette, the contour palette in medium to dark, and I'm taking the bronzer shade and just kind of using that to set the contour. I don't really use the contour shade because it just makes it look really harsh, and I'm really working on that with myself. So I just like to use the bronzer to make it look really, really natural and nice and blended. I'm taking an angled blush brush. I don't really know. I'm just taking an angled brush and just going over that because I just like angled brushes because it really curves with the face. And then I'm doing her jawline and just trying to blend it into her neck. Taking blush, I forget which one, but I'm just taking blush. It's really pigmented, so I kind of fixed that later because I put a little more than I wanted to. But I'm just taking it on her cheeks with the fat, fluffy brush. I don't know. I'm holding my brush at the end so it doesn't come off as harsh, and I'm just being really light-handed with it. And I always put a little blush on the nose. I don't know why, I just like it. Now I'm using the highlight out of the contour palette from Black Radiance, and I'm using a fluffy brush. I use a lot of different brushes. I don't like to use smaller brushes because I feel like it just looks weird. And I like the bigger brushes because it kind of evenly distributes it and doesn't just make it overly highlighted. I never like that look. It just look crazy. Now I'm just spraying her face again with that Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. That shit was $16, y'all. But now I'm taking the Real Techniques Instapot brush and going all over her face, because you have, whatever you spray on the face, you gotta push it into the skin. And now I'm using a beauty blender to kind of steady my hand and really kind of pull down her eye, but you can't really see, but I'm putting black into her waterline. I forgot to do it earlier. I seen somebody else do it before they start doing the rest of the face, but I've seen other people do it after. I really don't know. I don't think it matters, but I'm just doing that. And my little sister is the perfect client because she looks up. She don't be stupid. Like, y'all makeup artists, if y'all be having your eyes open, just on your phone, just got your head down, like, your makeup artist probably wants you, like, pick up your fucking head. That's probably what they want to tell you. But now I'm taking micellar water and cleaning off her lips. I usually don't do that either. I just be putting whatever on the lips, even with the foundation on there. But I clean off her lips, and I think I'm probably gonna continue to do that. Start doing it now. And now I'm using the bronzer from the same contour palette, the Black Radiance, and just going over her lips as a liner, because when I do this, like, when you put like the gloss over the powder, it turns into a beautiful, like, rich brown and look really nice. She was talking about she almost scratched off her whole makeup, but her eyebrow was itching, so I just took the lip applicator I was using and just tapping it. So ladies, if your makeup be itching, you got nails, just tap, just point your finger and just tap it. It'll go away eventually. But now I'm taking this lip gloss. This is my sister and this is my lip gloss, so I'm gonna use the thing on her, but you know, just use lip applicators. But see how the gloss is kind of making the powder turn into a nice rich brown liner. And I didn't even have to tell her to press her lips. She already know. And she giggling because I didn't even get a chance to tell her. She's just doing it after every time. But you see, it just blends really nicely. When you tell your clients to press your lips together, it blends itself out. So I really don't even have to do that much. But if it doesn't really look symmetrical, then I will go in with a lip applicator and just fix it myself. But it fixes itself. But now I'm just taking that dark blue from earlier under her waterline. I don't even usually do this either. I really be forgetting. But yeah, I think it really, like, brought the whole look together. I think it really made the look a lot more bolder. I'm just doing that to the other side as well. And that is the all done. I told her I was keeping it in there. She wanted to act the fool. Act the fool, act the fool, act the clown. Shake it up, shake it down. Act the clown. Listen to my sound. How you like me now? I'm all up in her, like a wee dinner. Ain't she so cute? She is my beautiful baby sister. But yes, follow me on Instagram and all that. Like, comment, subscribe. This is my first YouTube video and doing all this stuff, so thank you for watching.